Forgot my mom watches these videos. Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry for going on bad dates with sketchy boys. It's a part of growing and learning from your mistakes and growing up, so sorry. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacy, and I'm gonna be doing a special video for you guys today where I tell you about just the most awful date I've ever been on. The world has been pretty crazy as of late, and I've had a lot of anxiety. I've been feeling pretty down, so I thought it'd be a nice change of pace to come on here and let you guys laugh at my expense. I got this idea from my friend Alejandra. She actually has a channel here on YouTube for ASMR, Chill Pills ASMR. Make sure to check her out. But she does these whispered Tinder story times that are really funny. So if you like ASMR and if you like these funny bad date story times, make sure to check her out. But yeah, I just thought it would be kind of fun to come on here and just tell you about the worst date ever and let you guys learn from my mistakes. So if you're interested, then let's begin. I hope the boy doesn't see this video. I mean, why would he? But like, maybe I should have planted like a fake fact or like a fake part of the story and see if he like messages me and defends himself or something. That would be funny. But then you guys would think that I planted a fake detail. The story's already crazy enough, so I won't do that. Okay, so for background, so you know I didn't just blindly go on a date with a stranger. I didn't even like give him a code name. I can't use his real name. Let's call him Adam, because that's the first alphabetical name I could think of. So I swiped right on Adam on Bumble, and I liked him. You know, we were vibing pretty well. We kind of had the same sense of humor. He was witty and sarcastic and could kind of keep up with my sense of humor. He was also a personal trainer and had 8 abs, but that had nothing to do with it. But you know, we had a really good connection, so we did all of the usual steps. We got off the app and like gave each other Snapchat so we could like verify identity with like face photos. We got each other's numbers. We're texting for a little bit, getting to know each other a little better. So I feel like I vetted him properly in the sense that I was comfortable meeting with him to go on an in-person date. So when we finally met up, I offered to actually go out to his area because I was going to be out there for a different event on that day anyway, and I said I'll be free for dinner, so if you wanted to meet up, you pick the place. For reference, the night before, I had actually gone bar hopping with friends and I had lost my debit card, and I called in the morning and the place where I thought I had left it, they didn't have it. So I didn't have my debit card, so I remember actually on this morning I borrowed $40 from my mom in cash because I had no cash, I didn't have a credit card, and I was like, oh, I'm about to go on this date, but like, it's $40, like first dates are like coffee or, you know, ice cream sort of thing. So that'll come in to play later. That's what we call foreshadowing. So he texts me and he lets me know to meet him at this one restaurant that I can't remember the name of. And so I was like, okay, cool, I'll meet you there. So I meet him there. He's exactly as I pictured. I knew who he was right away. We go into this restaurant, we sit down, I look at the menu, and everything on the menu was the same price, and that price was about $35. So already I'm like, oh, this is expensive, and I am underdressed. But I was like, okay, like, well, we're here already, gotta make the most of it. So the first thing that we do is we order Moscow Mules because that was something that we had talked about in our text, that was like my drink of choice. So he was like, let's order some Moscow Mules. So we order them, the waitress brings them, and he like takes one sip and he was like, ugh, there's like no alcohol in this. And I was like, Adam, it's fine, like there's plenty of alcohol in this. And he goes, no. Calls like the waitress back, like, excuse me, as she's talking to another table. And he goes, I think the bartender forgot to put any alcohol in this. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, like that's our standard pour. Would you like to make it a double? And he goes, really? I would just like, I can't believe this. Like he was stunned. And so already I'm like, as a former server of like 10 years, I'm already like, oh no, this is bad. So he sends his drink back, they bring back another one, and he ordered doubles from there on out. So already I'm kind of getting like those vibes of like, if you're not nice to the waitress on your first date, that's just not a good sign. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So we're looking at the menu, trying to decide what to order, and considering everything on the order was all around the same price, I make the statement of like, well, I'm just gonna order like the craziest thing I can find, or like the most exotic thing that I haven't tried before. This restaurant, for reference, had like a lot of seafood, a lot of cuts of meat that I had never seen before. So I was like, I'm gonna order the octopus dish. And he goes, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, don't blame me when you don't finish it because you don't like it. And I think I made a comment of like, where's your sense of adventure? Like, dude, it's all right. I'm not a picky eater. Like, it's kind of fine. And at this point, I'm thinking like, oh, so not only is he rude, but he's also really not down to earth. Noted. So the waitress comes, takes our order. He orders a steak, medium rare. I order my plate of octopus. She goes away. So then there's that, that point in between where you order your food and you're waiting for your food where you're supposed to converse. Supposed to is the key word because homeboy did not know how to have a conversation. How it went was I was essentially interviewing him. I would ask him a question and he would answer it and just sit there. He wasn't asking me any questions, guys, like not even questions back to me. For example, I think I said like, oh, so do you have any pets? And he was like, oh yeah, like I still live with my parents, but we have a wiener dog and a Labrador. Or do you want to just ask me that question back? For the two-way conversation we're supposed to be having here? Like not even asking me that question back. And so at this point, I'm kind of realizing, okay, I'm not into this guy. I don't like this guy. Let me test him a little bit. So I decided I was not going to ask him any more questions after like 15 minutes of just me straight up interviewing him like I'm Barbara Walters. So I just stopped asking questions, thinking he would kind of take over the conversation and either ask me questions back or just continue to talk. Guys, he just stopped talking. And at one point, he took out his phone and started scrolling through Instagram. So I'm like, okay, like, I don't know if this guy, his ego is just way too big. What I think I started learning based on just like his preferred topics of conversation was that he is a personal trainer. He was very attractive, that he just kind of expected that to do all the work for him. And I was like, no. So the food comes. Oh my guys, my octopus was so good. I'm gonna see if I can like look up what the restaurant was and like put a photo here. If I do, it'll look like this. It was so good. Like seriously, in like the top 10 things I've ever eaten. So good. And he just got a regular cut of steak, and surprise, surprise, it was overcooked to his liking. So naturally, he calls the waitress over very rudely, sends it back, and then we have to wait another 20 minutes for his new steak to be done. Cue another round of us just not even having a conversation, or him just talking about only himself and learning nothing about me. Guys, it was literally like I wasn't even sure if he knew what my name would have been if he didn't have to program it into his phone. Like that's how few questions he asked me. So odd. So he gets his steak back, we finish our food, and then like the part I was dreading happens where like the check comes, and it was over $100. And guys, like just don't take your first date to a place that's gonna be over $100. Like you don't even know if you like the person yet. Why commit to that much money? It was so odd to me. So I let him know, I was like, hey, like I'm really sorry, I only have $40 in cash. Let me give that to you, kind of like ... And he goes, ugh, wow, like rolls his eyes so hard he sees his brain and just like scoffs out loud. And I was like, can I Venmo you the rest? And then he was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, no, like let me Venmo you the rest. I want to like pay my share. I ordered drinks, we got an appetizer, I ordered like a $35 meal, let me pay for half of it. And he goes, no, it's fine. And I was like, I think I said like, oh, I had a gift card, I think, or something like that, where I offered to pay for dessert, because I think I had a gift card. Yeah, but I was like, let me buy dessert to kind of make up for it then. He was like, fine. We're leaving. like a knife to my heart, I sneak a peek and he didn't tip. And like, that just, that's like that's like such a deal breaker to me. You guys have no idea. I've served for 10 years. A check over $100 when you're there for like 2 hours, like that's a big deal. And I was like, oh, this dude's, he's a dick. He's a dick. All right, part 2, scenery change. We go to get ice cream. And at this point, I'm feeling like, I already know I don't like him and I'm not going to be seeing him again. But I was feeling kind of guilty about the whole not being able to pay my share. Even though, again, I think it's weird that he expected me to go on a first date and pay like $60. Weird. Anyway, so we go to this ice cream place. And like, it's just like, there's no chemistry. There's no vibe. It was kind of like we both had the attitude of like, what are we even doing here? I remember one comment that he made was, he asked a very like poignant question and he goes, so, do I look like what you thought I would look like? And I was like, yeah. Like, we've been Snapchatting, like, I've seen your face. And so I do what he should have done, and I asked the question back. Also because it felt very targeted, like he was asking it just so he could get it asked back. I said, do I look like what you thought I would look like? And he goes, no. I was like, why? And he goes, I don't know. And I knew what he meant, and I think it's because we were sharing like face photos of just like, oh, like off to work kind of thing. I think what he was telling me was I was probably like chubbier than what he thought, because I don't think I had any like full body photos in my Bumble at this time, and he is a personal trainer. But I just thought like, either way, even though you're not even answering the question, that was still like a really dick answer. I don't know. But so we get our ice cream. They were in cones in paper sleeves. And so we go and we like sit on a bench and we're still talking. At this point, I'm kind of just mining him for information because I wasn't really interested, but he was going to grad school and I was just kind of like asking him actual informational questions that may benefit me. So we finish our ice creams and the paper sleeves from the ice creams, the ice creams were dripping all over our hands. But we had the paper sleeves left and like we couldn't find a trash can. And so he goes, oh, give me that. He takes it, he balls up it with his, and he puts it on the bench. He was like, all right, let's go. And I was like, what? Like, no, he goes, just leave it, it's fine. And I was like, oh, you're gonna not tip my waitress, you're gonna be a dick the whole time, and you're gonna litter? You're gonna litter on our date? No. I said, dude, it's like 2 pieces of paper. Just give it to me. I'll hold on to it until I find a trash can. It is not worth leaving it there. Like, oh, that was so weird. Just so weird. I'm sorry. I'm saying this all bad. This is just building up to the coup de grace, which is about to come up. Just wait, because, like, it gets better. I should also put a little preface in here that, like, all of my friends know the end to this story because I tell it all the time. Because of how ridiculous it is. So it's like, I'm getting to the climax of there. Just wait. Just patience. So he wants to litter. Bad. Just bad. So we have ice cream all over our hands. It's all sticky. So we're like, okay, we need to find a restroom to wash our hands. We ask a security guard. We were at a mall at this point, and it was late, and so all of like the main bathrooms were closed. So we asked a security guard, where's the nearest restroom? He pointed us to the parking garage and said, there's one on the bottom floor that should still be open. We're like, cool, thanks. So go down there. Adam goes into the restroom first, washes his hands, and comes out. This is the part, Mom, where if you're watching, just stop. Just look away. But he asks me, I forgot to give a really important part of my story. At this point in my life, I was newly single, I hadn't really dated before, and I was learning to stand up for myself, which is very obvious because if any normal person were on this date, they would have not gone to dessert. They would have cut out early. They would have been like, screw you, you're a douchebag, I'm out of here. I was still learning like how to say no, how to stand up for myself, be confident, that sort of thing. So he asks me, he says, before I go into the restroom, knowing that he has no chance of a second date, there's no chemistry here, there's no vibe, he throws his Hail Mary and he says, so have you ever like done it in a public restroom? And I said, no. And he goes, want to? At this point, for the record, I know I prefaced this by saying, like, I was learning how to say no. I said no, of course, but I'm disappointed in how I said it, because how I answered was not a slap to the face. It was not a big F you effing douchebag. What I said was, no, I'm on my period. Which was such a cop-out. Like, I'm so mad I wasn't, like, as strong of a feminist as I am today. And I'm so disappointed in that answer. But that's what I said. I said, no, I'm on my period. So he delivers the most cinematic line that will forever be engraved into the history books in my friend groups with the best line in bad date history. And he says, I almost like want to write it. It's so good. He says, God made backdoor for a reason. I know. I'll just let that one sink in for a little bit. Yep, so this guy on the first date, after just what was so horrible for both of us, asked me for in a bathroom of a parking garage. Yeah. So bad. Like, it's so bad, you guys. Of course I left right after that, and I said no, and again, I wish I would have, like, done something really cool, like slapped him or said, don't ever call me again, you creep. But no, I just said, like, okay, well, I need to go home now. And of course, like, we never spoke after that. He never reached out again. I, of course, didn't reach out again. He's blocked on everything. But it was just one of those dates that just shook me to my core, that I don't think I dated for probably like 6 or 7 months after that, because I was like, okay, like, that was really bad. I also had to reflect on the fact that could have been a potentially dangerous situation, which this is the sitcom message of all of this, is that I could have been in a lot of danger. You know, we were alone in a parking garage in a bathroom kind of thing, and something bad could have happened. I am grateful nothing bad did happen, and I am grateful that I actually did have such a bad date, because it made me learn my worth. It made me learn my standards and kind of learn what man I would want to date, but also that I just wasn't ready to date. I was newly single, and I just think I was in over my head trying to do the whole dating montage, and it just wasn't something that I was ready for, and it was something that I didn't actually like at the time. So I wanted to tell you guys, because I thought it was really funny. If you're a guy watching this, just like don't do anything, like literally anything this guy did. Just don't do it. And if you're a girl watching this, know your worth and stand up for yourself and be like, you're a jerk, I'm gonna leave. Because that's something I definitely wish I would have done. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope it either gave you a laugh or you learned a valuable lesson. Again, sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. But yeah, I have more stories if you guys are interested. I've had a couple of really bad dates. So if you're interested in hearing those, definitely let me know. I'm just kind of having fun with YouTube right now. So I would love if you guys would join me again in the future and see what other kind of craziness I'm up to. So thanks again for tuning in. Toodles! I should go back to that restaurant now that I'm like looking up this octopus again. Guys, like, mwah.